Hey everyone, and welcome to Westeros Weekly, your ultimate Game of Thrones after show. I'm Leanne Aguilera.
I'm Crossan, and we're breaking down everything that happened in last night's episode.
Plus, each week we're going to be giving you exclusive interviews from Game of Thrones stars and your favorite Game of Thrones superfans.
Today we have Ed Sheeran and Kit Harington.
Who's that?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, not at all. Let's kick things off with the Night's Watch.
The Night's Watch. Everything that happened last night. I think everybody is talking about... What's her name? Arya Stark?
Arya Stark!
Oh my gosh, that moment, that cold open was...
the coldest open we've ever had.
Thank you.
In Game of Thrones history.
Let's take a quick look at what happened.
Leave one wolf alive, and the sheep are never safe.
No, that is not Walter Frey.
It's Arya Stark, and that line gave me so many chills.
Oh.
But we'll move on to that one. We're going to come back to that in a second.
We're going to come back to that. We're going to dissect that a little bit deeper.
Because what's the internet talking about?
The internet is talking all about the fact that Ed Sheeran was in last night's episode. No, he was not singing Shape of You. He was singing something else, something a little prettier. Let's take a look at that.
For hands of gold are always cold, but a woman's hands are...
It's a pretty song. I've never heard it before.
It's a new one.
Of course he was singing.
Cheeky response there, Ed Sheeran. Ashley, controversial opinion. I don't know if I necessarily needed that in last night's episode.
Okay, it's like I'm escaping into this fantasy world, and then I see Ed Sheeran essentially playing Ed Sheeran. He might as well just been like, "Hi, I'm Sir Ed." Like it took me out of it so bad.
I
really
Sheeran.
Yeah.
I also felt like that scene could have been in any episode.
Oh, 100%. Like every line and scene in that show serves a purpose except for that one.
And I almost would have loved it if Arya's big moment of the night had just been that cold open.
Absolutely.
And we actually caught up with Ed Sheeran last month, and here's what he actually had to say about his cameo.
I feel like my cameo's been built up too much though, and people will just be like, oh, all right. Like, it's not an integral part of it at all. I'm just, like, in it.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you. We also got the grossest scene I've ever seen on Game of Thrones, that montage with Sam and...
in the Citadel, and the bedpans, and the...
Yeah, I was trying to drink wine, and then I got a little nauseous. I'm not even kidding.
But it was kind of the funniest scene that we've ever had in Game of Thrones.
Totally. It was, look, Ghost is like,
Ghost
I'm not
is
having
not
this.
having it
Not
at
having
all.
it. But we also got...
a very
look at
surprise
we have
return.
Yes, Jorah, hello.
Jorah, you're looking great, man. Not quite. Oh, that hand reaching out. It looks like the grayscale is in full effect right now. Mm-hmm. What do you think he's there for?
That's what I called you right after, because I was like, is he captured or is he there on his own will, or are they studying him?
I think he's being studied, because remember, Dany had said, you need to find a cure. That's the only way that you can come back and be at my side. You need to save your own life. And I feel like going to the Citadel and being amongst the smartest men in Westeros is the only way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we also have Sam doing his little Harry Potter thing, going into the restricted section.
And I felt like I was watching Harry Potter.
So many people were just like, oh my gosh, this is straight out of Harry Potter. First he was Belle, now he's Harry Potter.
Oh, bless his heart.
And he finds that Dragonstone has a mountain of dragon glass, which is the way to kill the White Walkers.
Exactly. So, of course, he sends a raven to Jon Snow, so hopefully that means that we will be getting a Jon Snow and Daenerys scene pretty soon.
Are they going to get along? Time will tell.
I don't know, but they are related.
I'm going yes.
And, of course, we got to talk about Cersei.
Oh my gosh.
Not wanting at all to talk about the fact that all of her children are dead.
Doesn't even really seem to care that much.
No, not really. She is hell-bent on keeping control of the Seven Kingdoms. I loved when Jaime came in with that cool line, you're ruling 3 kingdoms at best, sweetheart.
Everything with Cersei was just like a ton of shade. Because then, of course, Euron comes in.
Yes.
With his proposal to marry her, which is could be a good alliance, but right now he's kind of B-team. Like, there's no reason, it doesn't really benefit her to be with him.
Can we talk about his wonderful makeover? I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. Last year he was very serious, and this year he comes in, he's cheeky. He kind of is giving me like Jack Sparrow vibes.
Yeah, like went to Hot Topic, a little goth thing going on.
Guyliner on point.
Yeah. But he does say that she rejects his proposal, and then he says, I'm going to go get you a gift.
Yes. The ultimate gift to woo a queen, which was Cersei.
He's not going to Zales. Like, what do you think he's getting her?
I think he's going to get her a head.
Whose head?
Sansa. And that pains me to say
That's so
it.
rude.
I know.
So rude.
But like, think about it. Like, oh, but she hates so many people. It could be anyone.
I think she probably wants Tyrion the most.
You think? Yes, because he did betray her and because he's the hand of Queen of Dany.
But I don't know if he's gonna get him.
I don't know. You got to go through 3 dragons in order to get to Tyrion.
I don't think he's going to get him. I think it's going to be somebody else. But Sansa's a good guess. I really don't want her to be hurt any more than she already has.
She's been hurt enough, guys.
That's enough.
Leave Sansa alone. Let's move over to the iciest moment of the night.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's circling back to what we were talking about at the beginning.
Hands down, it belongs to Arya Stark.
Arya Stark.
Arya Stark.
As Walder Frey.
Duh. Moonlighting as Walder Frey.
Yeah, the whole unmasking and just the line she says. I mean, let's take a look at it. It speaks for itself.
When people ask you what happened here, tell them the North remembers. Tell them winter came for House Frey.
I just got chills.
That was the only time. Well, I screamed twice during the episode.
Okay.
That and then when we saw Tormund, of course.
Yes, definitely.
Of course.
So you guys are going to learn this very soon on. Ashley's got a raging crush on Tormund.
Love Tormund. Love him so much.
But I love how incredibly badass Arya was in this episode. Not only did she cross off so many names from her list, but she did it in such a wonderful fashion.
I hope she keeps doing this. Just every episode's a cold open.
Arya just killing somebody. But okay, here's my question. Is she allowed to keep using the skills that she learned from the Faceless Men, even though she's no longer an assassin for them?
Yeah, seems like that shouldn't be allowed.
But, all right, but I'll allow it. We'll allow it this time. Ashley, take us into our next thing.
Should we do a segment we're calling Keeping Up with Khaleesi? Obviously, she gets her first line of the season.
The only line that Dany said, but it was worth the wait.
Worth the wait. Let's
take a look.
Shall we begin?
She's home, she's home, she's home.
I just love that. We just got a silent montage of her exploring Dragonstone, her family home. This is the first time that she's been back there since she was an itty bitty baby, because they were exiled from it. And just watching her just see everything for the first time and walk up those steps, and I just loved it.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. And by the way, the whole reason that it was unoccupied, if you're like, why is there just an empty castle? Is because Stannis was there.
Stannis
and
was
obviously
there.
he's not around anymore.
But that's why that throne room and then that war room looked so familiar for those fans who might have forgot that. Oh yeah, Stannis just kind of was like, well, dibs.
Dibs.
Okay, and if there was another thing that you might have been a little bit fuzzy on in last night's episode, we're here to catch you up with a segment we like to call The North Remembers. Take it away, Ashley.
Well, there was this whole situation with the Hound that you definitely got the feeling you were like, this is something that I'm supposed to remember from previous seasons. So
and I did not at all.
He gets to the cabin, he finds this farmer and this little girl and they're dead, and there gets to a point where he buries them and
he clearly knew them.
He knew them. So back in season 4, when he's on his adventure with Arya, they actually take them in, they feed them, all this stuff, and then he beats them up and robs them and doesn't feel bad about it and says, well, they're going to be dead by winter. This guy's weak. He can't defend himself, so I don't even feel bad.
Dick move, the Hound.
And then we get back here and they're calling him Sandor Clegane, by the way. They're starting to call him by his name, which is like a pretty clever, I think, writing thing to kind of shift his moral ground. But he feels guilty and he buries them and he clearly is kind of sad about it.
I know, but it was something that I totally forgot about, the fact that this happened 3 seasons ago.
Yes.
And it's just crazy to see how much Arya has changed just from what we were just seeing of her.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But no, so I definitely thought that it was something that we needed to revisit. And yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a call from the booth. We have a Stark Sister update.
Wonderful. Did Sansa Stark and Arya Stark reunite in tonight's episode?
Nope.
This has been your Stark Sister update. Moving on.
Moving on.
Each week, we are going to be catching up with your favorite Game of Thrones stars or Game of Thrones superfans, and we are going to be asking them our wildfire Fast Five round of questions. It's going to be the same for every person, and so we're going to see how their answers stack up. This week, we caught up with the one, the only, Kit Harington, who plays Jon Snow. Look at that. We've got our little baby ghost here to represent him. So let's take a look at all of Kit's answers and see what he had to say.
Bronn. Michelle Fairley, Catelyn Stark. Just like a bit smile, a big smile. Grey Worm and Brienne. I think that's the problem with the Iron Throne. No one actually deserves it.
If you had to pick.
Tyrion.
Tyrion!
That's interesting. I also just think he's like a great advisor, Hand of the King.
I don't know if he could actually rule. I think that he's very wise and I think that he's very intelligent, but I don't know if he's quite up for the task, and that was not exactly a hype pun, but I just realized that it kind of was. I'm really sorry.
Oh, no.
Speaking of the Iron Throne,
we are going to move on to a segment we're calling Race to the Iron Throne. Who is the top contenders right now?
Right now, we've got the Lannisters way in the lead.
That's got to be because they're actually on the Iron Throne physically.
That's right. They're in King's Landing. This is the first time that Cersei herself is actually sitting on the throne and not just using her children as puppets.
And she doesn't even seem to care. I think, like, one thing that's an advantage for her is that she just has no moral compass. She does not care at all.
Yeah, she has no heart. So I really feel like it's not going to be difficult for her to just kill everyone that she needs to.
Doesn't matter.
In order to keep the throne. Second place, who's really heating up right now, Miss Daenerys Targaryen.
She does have a moral compass.
Yes.
And she's got a castle.
She's got 3 dragons. She's got thousands of ships. She really has what it takes to really overtake it. Right now, I feel like she is Cersei's biggest opponent.
Absolutely. And then in third place, I think the one we probably want is Jon.
Yeah.
He's obviously butting heads with Sansa a lot, but
a lot. Like sister-brother squabbles, but in front of everyone. Like that was like a really awkward Thanksgiving moment with them.
I think if she wasn't his sister, he'd probably have to discard her.
But she does make a fair point. She did say in last night's episode, you need to be smarter than Ned. You need to be smarter than Robb.
I think she's great for him.
I think she's great. She's a good Hand of the King, but I do think that with Littlefinger whispering her in her ear.
Yeah, why is he around? Like he's
always going to be around.
I know, but he doesn't benefit anybody.
But he's always there, and he's just ready and willing. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the series, if everyone was dead and he just kind of slides.
Oh, I'd be furious.
And sits on that throne. I'd be pissed too, but at the same time, he's like a cockroach.
Yeah.
He is like a cockroach. You can't kill him. But so right now, Lannisters in the lead. I'm really hoping that they get dethroned soon. We will see.
Too.
Yeah.
We do get our teaser for
next week's episode.
Which is jam-packed. So
let's take a look at that.
Take a look.
Targaryen cannot be trusted.
The Mad King's daughters will destroy the realm.
We have an army, a fleet, and 3 dragons. We should hit King's Landing now.
She's back! She's back! Nymeria and Arya seem like they're gonna reunite.
It does not seem like it's gonna go well.
Didn't look like they were having a great connection there, but...
A Minnie the North remembers. Remember, a long time ago, Arya had to banish Nymeria because clearly Cersei and Joffrey was gonna have her killed because she bit Joffrey, which is another reason to be in love with this direwolf. But so I can't imagine that she would be too pleased to see Arya again because she banished her.
And we also saw that Targaryens can't be trusted.
Yes.
So believing Jon got the letter from Sam, so
I'm excited.
We're getting closer to them being in the same vicinity of each other.
I'm so excited for that to happen. I don't even know what their first exchange would be. Just like, hey, Auntie.
Do you think? Yeah, I mean, being related to somebody doesn't really matter in Westeros. So do you think they're gonna?
Do you think they're gonna?
Do you think they're gonna get together?
I don't know. If a brother and sister can hook up, why not an aunt and a nephew? Oh, that just sounded gross.
Let's post that out of context.
That just... And of course, speaking of hookups, get it, girls?
Yara and Ilaria.
Make
it out.
I ain't mad at it.
So,
2 really attractive females hooking up, like, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I also really enjoyed the fact that Cersei throwing shade at Dany, saying the Mad King's daughter can't be trusted to rule the kingdom. You don't know her.
Cersei's way madder than
Yeah,
Dany.
you blew up half your kingdom, girl. Don't be throwing stones at dragons.
The Mad Queen.
Ooh, but there is so much goodness ahead for us. 6 more episodes.
That was the first one.
Ashley, on the spot right now, we did not practice this. What do you think is going to happen, and who do you think is going to die?
This season or
Yes,
next episode?
This season.
Who? I think Jon and Dany are going to meet.
Yes.
I think, gosh, I don't want Sansa to die.
Oh, wow, you're going real dark there.
I'm just making like a bold prediction, just so if I do get it, I feel like
I was going to do an underhand and be like, I think Podrick's going to die, but you just really just threw it right down the middle.
That's a good one.
I definitely think that we're going to get more unlikely team-ups. I would like to see Arya and, I feel like Arya and Tyrion haven't seen each other in a while.
You know what you said to me earlier?
Yeah.
Brienne and Grey Worm.
Oh, because Jon gave me that idea. Or Kit gave me that idea. I think that would be... Jon Snow, sorry. But no, so many good things coming ahead.
I'm still shipping Tormund and Brienne. They need to get together.
I mean, if they don't get together, then there's no justice in this world.
But all of that next week, huh?
All of that next week. We've got so much more for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into our first episode of Westeros Weekly. Be sure to keep checking back because we're going to be having exclusive interviews from all your favorite Game of Thrones stars and welcoming in some Game of Thrones superfans into the mix.
Absolutely. Like, comment, subscribe, and you can always tweet us about Game of Thrones or whatever else you want to talk about.
Yeah, anything. We're game.
We're game.
Awesome.
Of Thrones.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye, guys.